So I wanted to record a video about my weight loss, where I started and where I am now, and a few of the little details that helped me get there. I started around 275 when I decided that enough was enough and I wanted to lose weight. And I was 5'11" and my pant size was around 40. At the current time, I'm around 159 as of my last weigh-in, and my pant size is about 28. That is a huge, dramatic change over the past few years. And it did take me about 2 years to really get control of what I was doing. It started around 2019. I was around 275 pounds. And my diet was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I was eating pizza, candy, chips. Pringles were my favorite. Cookies, all types of desserts, ice cream, very few vegetables, very few fruits, very few of anything that was healthy, really. And at the time, you don't understand what you're doing, and all I really knew was maybe counting calories, although I didn't keep good track of that. And I had to really, really get myself under control. When I was 275, I decided to try out my chiropractor's gym. I got a free 1-week trial, and I went in there. I did the week, but it was really hard because I was working full-time and also at the time going to school full-time, which really put a strain on my schedule. So I ended up not continuing that, which I wish I had, but I didn't continue it. And I started from there trying to count calories, which did actually work to an effect because I was able to get down around the 225 range from 275. So not too bad for just counting calories and watching what you eat a little bit, because I was still eating a lot of what I wanted to eat as opposed to what I should eat. And where now I eat more on the lines of what I should eat, and now I want to eat that way because it makes me feel so much better. So I was still real tired around 225. Then 2020 hit, and everything was kind of off the rails for a while. So I was pretty lax on my diet and calorie counting, and I started eating whatever I wanted again and started to put on weight. At that time, I think I'd gotten down to around 210 and went back up to 225. So not terrible considering I really started to loosen my diet restrictions, but still not good, not the direction I wanted to go, and I started feeling much worse. I was eating a lot of sweets. I guess a lot of comfort foods and things of that nature when that happened. And so I started really in 2021 is when I went to the gym and started to get myself under control. And I started working out every single day. For the first year, every day. I didn't miss. And I got my diet under control. Of course, that was more of and it still is kind of this changing thing, because there's so many little details trying to figure out how one thing helps another and helping your gut bacteria, things of that nature, which at the time I wasn't really eating a lot of yogurt. I wasn't eating a lot of good things. And then eventually I added in probiotics, Greek yogurt, and really started honing on that because I realized how effective your gut bacteria could be at helping you lose weight. The two things that I had to really restrict in my diet so that I could continually lose weight were sugar and oil. Sugar and oil, especially when eaten together, not only are detrimental to your gut bacteria, but they will significantly alter your ability to lose weight. They will put on weight faster than almost anything else just because of how they work in your system. At the time, I didn't know that. When I started dieting, I was actually using chips and hummus were my favorite, and I thought that was healthy at the time. And then it's not the worst thing you could eat, but I couldn't get below around 185 to 190. I kept fluctuating within there, and it wasn't until I realized, oh, it's all that oil in foods that I was eating at the time that was really restricting me from dropping my weight lower. And once I got rid of them and started eating, really honing in on eating beans, which, by the way, beans, most of them, you'll only absorb half the calories, like lentils. Those are my favorite because they taste really good, in my opinion, and they cook really fast. And as long as you're not eating a lot of butter and salt and any other spices with them, going over the top, and you can really control your caloric intake using that. Of course, you also, if you're lifting, you also want to control your protein intake, and that helps with that too. I use a lot of protein powders now, and what's nice about protein powders too is they help you regulate your calories because everything's measured out, and it makes everything a lot simpler when you're trying to stick to a diet plan. And I eat a lot of greens now too, which I didn't when I first started, but I'm still trying to get more in my diet. And they're really one of the harder things because really, who looks at a bunch of leafy greens and is like, yeah, that's delicious? That's kind of, you have to get used to them. But I am getting used to them and continually using them to help lose weight. So that's how I started back then, and just refining my diet. I used to use a lot of soups too, canned soups when I first started. Now I try to make more of my own just so I can control the ingredients so that I know what goes into it. And just using more and more raw foods and cooking it myself. Not so much because it's easier, just for the fact that you know what's in it, you know what you bought, you can check everything out, and have a little more control on all the micros and macros that go into it. But it was difficult to give everything up at first, and it's not going to be easy for anyone else. It's because it's just, you're addicted. I was addicted to that food and had to get off of it. One thing though that it taught me going through weight loss and going to the gym was discipline and self-control, which I think I was very poor at the time. I was not very good at discipline, although I did well in my classes. I did well in things, and I was always on time for work and, did very well at work. It's just not disciplined enough to the things that I really wanted to do with myself, where I would just do what I had to do, and that was it. And then I'd come home and play video games or whatever and eat whatever I wanted and let myself off the hook for the rest of the day, thinking that, oh, this was my break and now it's time to take it easy. And that's just not how to get where you want to get in life. You have to, set goals, you have to make decisions, and then you have to follow through on them. And that's not easy to do. That's ultimately what I did, and it has helped me significantly to get better and get where I want to be. I'm still not exactly where I want to be. However, I'm getting closer and closer to it, and I've blown past my original goals. So just kind of setting new goals and trying to attain those is where I'm at now. And hopefully I'll keep posting more about that and some of the recipes that I use to help me lose weight and help me get a decent amount of protein for the calories because I've started using different meal plans to try to make sure that I stay on point. It's been hard to kind of continually put on muscle simply because I'm always trying to eat at a deficit. I still am because I want to get down as low as I can go and then start building back up from there. But I'm almost there, and I'm honestly really happy with the results because if I had done nothing, I would still be where I was, and I would still be almost 2 years later and stuck where I was. But now I'm in a completely different position, and I'm much closer to my personal ideal of what I can be, as opposed to something that I was really unhappy with and didn't like being.